It's Saturday, and I'm bringing you a video. But I'm going to need you to hit the like button as I bring you these videos today. You know how it is on the weekends. The news ain't going. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no real news popping off on the weekend. But I got news for you. I got a lot of news for you. Hit the button, dog. Hit the button. We going to be all right. Hit the button. Put this microphone down. You see me putting it down? Watch this. Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. And I want to start off by reading this. I don't know if this is the real cash, but I said this 1,000 times. I didn't know it was $100 billion marketing campaign. But it says, if you are unblanked, you resisted a global propaganda worth over $100 billion. The fact that you withstood such intense pressure shows how strong you are, making you a rare breed in a time when that kind of backbone is nearly extinct. Be proud of yourself. I've said this over and over and over. That was the greatest marketing campaign ever. And if you are a pure blood at this point in time, congratulations. Now, if you're not a pure blood, there's all the information out there you need to take care of yourself. Do not despair. Do not go into fear. But you're going to have to do some research. Yeah. You're going to have to do some research. But the information is out there. It cannot be communicated to you via this platform, because this platform has yet to essentially apologize and admit that it's wrong. But that's okay. That's not my job. It ain't my job. It's not my job. No, sir. It is not my job. Now let's get to all the news that's going on. Breaking. President Trump's administration is firing and replacing the current ICE director due to the deportation rate falling short of expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call holding people accountable. Bruh, you have a job to do, and if you don't do it, you are getting fired. But see, in the world where everybody gets a trophy, which is the world we currently live in, nobody expects to get fired. You expect to I'm just going to be mediocre and nothing happens. Yeah. You need to handle your business. You have to. And it's amazing because we've created this environment, and I say we, because, we did everything we could as mad lads, as my boy Salty Cracker would say, to fight it. But overall, the majority of the population is under the belief that it's okay to be mediocre. It's okay to be mediocre. To just, do just enough to get by. And it's that mediocrity that leads to so much conflict. It's that same mediocrity that you see rearing up its ugly head when a man like Donald Trump goes into office. You want to know why? Because he's proficient and efficient at what he does. And because society is not used to this, they rebel. It's no different than when you go to Home Depot, right? Or you go to Lowe's. Or I'll give you a perfect example. I needed to get a car charger that jumps your car off at Walmart. And so I go into Walmart at 10 p.m. Walmart closes at 11 p.m. And I go to the area, and the car parts section had just closed. The person was walking out of the door. I said, "Excuse me, sir." He says, "Yes." He has the door open. I said, "I need to get something out of this case before you leave. We're closed." I said, "No problem, sir." I said, "But you're here right now. I'm pretty sure you have the key on you. We're closed." And he walks out the door. So I go to the front of the store and I say, "Hey, I need to get something out of the car parts section." And the lady says, "Well, it closes at 10. I said, "Okay." I said, "But I need it now. I need it now. I need to use it tonight." And so she looks and she thinks for a second. And I'm just about to walk off, and she grabs the walkie-talkie and she calls another person. "Hey, can you help a customer in auto?" I said, "Well, thank you, ma'am. God bless you." She says, "Go to auto. Somebody will be there in a moment." So I go. And when I get there, I said, this is Walmart. By now it's 10:15. It's going to be a while. Let me pull up a chair. So I grab one of their chairs and I sit at the front section when you walk in. And I let 5 minutes pass, 10 minutes pass. And it gets to be 10:30 and they do their announcement. This is Walmart. And first of all, they start talking in Espanol first. I don't even think they said anything in English. It was all Espanol. And I said, okay, we in a situation now, James, where nobody wants to do their job because they feel like they're about to get off work. This is mediocre people you're dealing with. There's only one way to deal with mediocrity. That's to force it to do what it's supposed to do. So I remembered and I recalled in that moment right then and there that she said the lady who responded on the radio was in cosmetics. She says, I'll be there in a moment. I'm dealing with something in cosmetics. So I head over to the cosmetics section and I stand there and I watch the women walking around. And I said, which one of these women is the boss? I'm watching the interactions and I noticed the one that was telling people what to do. I said, that's the boss. That's who she called. Excuse me, ma'am. She's like, yes. I said, if I'm not mistaken, they radioed you and told you that I was waiting on you in the automotive section. She says, yeah. I was just trying to get the key. Then she turns to a lady and says, can you give me the key? Now, this is the lady she had walked past 5-6 times while I was standing there watching them leaning like, let me see who's who. And so she takes me in the back and I get what I need to get and I get out of the store. But we all experience the mediocrity all over the place. And so what America has to do is no longer be mediocre. And that's what wokeism, that's what DEI is all about. You being mediocre. That's what and it all started with giving everybody a trophy. It all started with nobody's feelings can be hurt. And quite frankly, it all started when they stopped allowing people to be bullied. Nobody want to hear this. They're going to say, man, I was bullied and you don't know what it's like. Everybody was bullied. But the only way a bully learn a lesson is when somebody stand up to the bully. The only way you become tough is sometimes you run into a bully. And if you don't go through the traditional rites of passage in life, you get to be 50 years old and you get fired on a job and you start to cry like a damn idiot. Just like the lady did in the video earlier. She's 50 years old or 40 years old and or you act like this guy right here, the punter for the Minnesota Vikings, that you crying and whining. Or like the lady on CNN. Arrested development is what it is. Handcuffed development is what people experience. And therein lies the problem with society. I'm sorry. We got to get past the point of arrested development. We have to get past that point. And so when you see this man right here, who clearly comes from a generation that don't care about arrested development and just says what it is, everybody gets into this tizzy because they're not used to dealing with how society used to be. You know what I'm saying? Now, I haven't found what I'm looking for yet because I'm looking for Donald Trump talking about the governor of, I think it's the governor of Maine. Give me 1 second. Let me get there. I might have to do some editing. I hate doing editing. Yeah, here it is.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is the Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. That exchange right there is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to play it again. I don't see if I can get some captions, but I'm going to put the captions. Let me just read it. Trump, are you going to comply? She says, Mills says, I'll comply with state and federal law. Trump, we are the federal law. You'd better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding if you don't. Mills, see you in court. Trump, good. See you in court. I look forward to it. That should be a real easy one. Enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be elected in politics. This is what you have to understand. For a governor to stand there or sit there and try and rebel against a sitting president is the dumbest thing on the planet. You would have did better saying, yeah, we're going to comply, and then not comply, other than giving this soundbite, which is going to be used against you in court. This is how dumb these people are. But I told you, it's arrested development. There's no savvy. There's no strategy. It's just pure on like debauchery. Yeah, I want to win in women's sports. I'm going to defend the men beating women. Like a damn demon. I'm serious, like a full-on demon. And you know it's like they full-on demons because common sense just don't kick in. You talking to the most popular president in the history of the United States of America, who's currently cutting off aid all over the place to all kind of federal programs. And you think for a moment that you're going to win that battle? Lady, you crazy. Or you demon possessed. Remember that movie, The Ring, where the girl would come out, she'd be like, come out the TV. That's what's going on with them. That's what's going on with these people, man. They're crazy. And they want you to be crazy with them. Excuse me. I need to get a little bit of my iced coffee in my system. Yes, I'm sitting on the screen. It's amazing the all-out destruction that's happening. I touched on this when it first popped up, how Stacey Abrams got access to $2 billion, ladies and gentlemen. $1 billion. And it's all being exposed. Excuse me. It's all being exposed right now. Everybody that you would think or people thought was like this phenomenal politician, it's clear that there was millions of dollars dumped behind these mediocre, in this case, this mediocre beach whale. I'm sorry. It never made sense to me from a political standpoint how she progressed at all. There's a couple of things you need to know about politicians. Politicians tend to be extremely attractive people. Politicians and salesmen tend to be the same thing. They tend to be very, very attractive people. And then when I first saw Stacey Abrams, I said, well, something's going on right here. This don't make no sense. I looked around, looked to my left, looked to my right. I said, something don't make no sense. Because she don't even pass the eyeball test at all. Just she don't pass the eyeball test. Somebody with DW being mean. Oh, it's the reality of it. I mean, there is an eyeball test that exists in life when it comes to positions of power. Now, in a bureaucracy, you notice that everybody inside the bureaucracy look like some damn pale green-skinned goblin demon, but they don't have to pass the eye test. But in public light, you need to be moderately attractive. But we got to understand, there was an entire shift that led to Stacey Abrams, where they had all these plus-size women everywhere. And again, ladies, if you're a plus-size woman, I'm not, the last time I said something like this, somebody took it so personally. I'm not targeting you. My fat behind ain't got no right to target nobody. But the point I'm making to you is, we're talking about the reality of it. For example, realistically, I don't need to go and run no 5K race. Not at this weight, not in this shape. Common sense tells you, don't go try and run a 5K race. Guess what? You ain't gonna make it the first 500 yards trying to run. Could you walk a 5K? Yeah, I could put some music on and walk a 5K. That's more realistic. And what we're talking about is the realistic nature of life, that in La La Land, where we've been living, everybody ignores the rules of life. Like, we were in La La Land, and yeah, everybody's attracted to Stacey Abrams, and she's the greatest politician on the planet, and Kamala Harris is a genius, and Jasmine Crockett is great, and Governor Mills is looking out for little girls. It's all fraud. It's all a lie. And the problem is we can't just come into agreement with the lie, because now we are indicted and we're guilty. And so the one thing we've seen, ladies and gentlemen, is when you rebel against all the lies, there was a system put in place to slap you because you rebelled against a lie. That's what censorship is. That's why it's so important. That's why Bill Gates and everybody else is saying we need the censorship and industrial complex. That's why the World Economic Forum talks about we need the ability to censor, because they need an enforcement arm in this digital age to reinforce the lies. Because without that enforcement arm, people like me and you, we break through and pierce the veil of their lies, shatter it. Remember on Die Hard, when Bruce Willis was on top of the roof and he was shooting and all the people was about to get blown up? He was like, "Get off the roof, there's a bomb. There's a bomb." That's you. That's me. We on the roof. "Get off the roof, there's a bomb. There's a bomb." And everybody's like, "No, they're helping us." You like, that's us. That's the only way we can get these clowns to go back down. Then they start running down. They run past the hanging body of the German dude. He like this. And then later on, he comes back. I don't know how the hell he got back at the end of the movie. And then Carl Winslow pulls the gun. Pow. Pow. That was so exaggerated when Carl Winslow did that. Pow. Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress. But that's where we at, though. And we up there. We done shot. Brrr, and then here come the government. Literally, here come the government with two clowns that's in the FBI. I mean, this is exactly what the American people went through in the FBI, talking about, "This reminds me of Nam." And then they got a sniper rifle pointed at you, trying to shoot you. And so now you done jumped and dove, and now you're tying a thing around your waist. That's what we just went through. You done dove off the top of the building while the explosion happened. The little ring came off and caught you, and we was all hanging on the edge, just like this. Blood all on our feet. Body stabbed full of glass, and we kicking the glass, clicking the window, push off, boom, 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 go inside, and then we think we all right for a split second, and whoosh, and then they start pulling us down again. Damn. That's what's been going on with us. Stacey, go on and say something crazy.
We know that we have to take action on climate. And unfortunately, I live in a state
There go the hustle.
where the governor has been absolutely silent on his intentions. I intend to push for environmental resilience, and this is a bill that's going to help us do that. But overall, it's going to put money back into the pockets of Georgians, back into the pockets of Americans, and that's the kind of progress we need to continue to make.
And so if you're in Georgia right now, and you happen to be a person that voted for Stacey, ask yourself a question. AXE. Ask yourself a question. Did I get a damn thing when Stacey got $2 billion of taxpayer funding? And where is the $2 billion? It ain't like you can hide $2 billion under your bed, ladies and gentlemen. I can't hide. What can we hide? Where is the $2 billion? I want to know where the money is. It's my money, and I want it now. And that's what the people of Georgia should be saying. That's what the people of Georgia should be saying. It's my money, and I want it now, because it is your money. And it all went to Stacey Abrams. Now, here's the craziest thing. Most likely, it hit that account and got funneled into all kind of nonprofits. It is overseas somewhere. And so, in my opinion, now that Kash Patel is FBI director, the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Men in Black, then some handcuffs needs to be given out. Some bracelets need to be given out to these people immediately. Absolutely immediately. And if we don't get the bracelets, we got a problem on our hands. What? Birth strikers. Meet the women who refuse to have children until climate change ends. I'm gonna pass on that one, because what I'm gonna say is gonna be so wild that it's gonna be pretty terrible. It's gonna be pretty terrible. I touched on Jasmine Crockett already. Look at Bennett Johnson. Ain't it amazing that Bennett Johnson went from the internet to speaking at CPAC? I mean, it's amazing. Congratulations, Bennett Johnson. I mean, congratulations, dude. That's amazing. I'm not about to listen to what you got to say, though. But congratulations anyway. This is what I want to touch on.
Feels as though...
Hey, stop it. In the video earlier, I started talking about Nazis. And I don't know if I'm going to release the video where I was talking about Nazis. I done recorded so many videos. I did a 2-hour video. I'm a little bit disappointed that it didn't get the traction. It's taking a lot longer to get the traction, but nonetheless, I digress. Back to this. You know, the World Economic Forum, the Nazis that established it, truly are some of the most wicked people on the planet. People talk about the Hegelian dialectic. I had somebody in my comments who was like, yeah, Trump is the devil and he's participating in the Hegelian dialectic, and if you don't like that then and you're pissed, then that's on you. I just blocked him because I'm like, you're trying to get people up in anger and all the rest of these emotions, but you clearly are blind, because these people are your enemies right here. That's your enemy, the people at the World Economic Forum, because every last one of them has been getting your tax dollars and weaponizing it against you. And every last one of them have presented these green agendas, climate dip, change, and all the rest of this foolishness. And those things have been used to extract money from you. Yeah. You know how you baste the turkey and you had that big long needle and you had the juice in there? And this is what they've been doing. They've been a whole bunch of skinny birds. All of them started off as skinny birds. They took your American tax dollars and put it inside of the baster and injected themselves with your money. And now they're big birds. Yeah, they're big, yellow big birds running around, barking orders at everybody. But there's nothing significant about these people at all. Give me $2 billion. Let me go get my own little private jet and put on a suit and tie and hit me with some of that Ozempic. You know what I'm saying? The real Ozempic. Let me drop some weight. I don't want all that extra skin, and then put me on stage. And I could sit there and say, well, the biggest problem that we're running into right now is that we need to get to net zero. And more importantly than net zero, it's the methane gas problem that is destroying the atmosphere and leading to climate change. And climate change is the greatest challenge in the history of humanity. Never mind the fact that there was more CO2 on the planet hundreds and thousands of years ago, and the plants were bigger, and it's obviously that's how come the humans were bigger and everything else was larger, because of the level of CO2. But no, I don't need to tell you the truth. I just need to say this. And the reason why they get away with it is because nobody pays attention to them, and they had the funding. So imagine this fiefdom of people over to the side of just like off in their own little town and city, and they're all extracting money and they're all getting everything, and they're talking to each other while we're busy paying our bills, raising our kids, going to church. Some of y'all don't go to church, but you're busy doing whatever you do, and they just getting rich. And it gets to a point to where it's a tipping point where they got so much money, so much influence, so much power, then they start to lecture you. And it's the lecturing that really brought all the attention to them.
It feels as though the mood music has changed. Many of U.S. peers have pulled out of the climate alliance. Even Trump, yesterday, President Trump is now has plans to pull out of the Paris framework. Big setback to the green agenda. How is this going to impact the bank's role in promoting this sustainable economy?
And of course, we're seeing the consequence of that in terms of the natural disasters around the world.
So we're seeing the consequences of Donald Trump pulling money out in the past 2 weeks based on the natural disasters around the world. No. See, this is why I would love to have one of these people on my show. Because I would say, excuse me, his name is Bill Winters. Excuse me, Bill, is that a threat? What do you mean, James? That sounds like a damn threat to me. Let's listen to it again.
Promoting this sustainable economy.
And of course, we're seeing the consequence of that in terms of the natural disasters around the world.
Sound like a threat. Because the question was, Donald Trump pulling out, and how's it going to affect you? Of course, we see that as a consequence of the natural disasters that happen around the world. Have we not had natural disasters around the world for this entirety of the world itself? Is this the first time there was a hurricane? There was the first time. Is there ever been the first time we had a snowstorm? Have we experienced any new first thing that's ever happened on this planet? The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun, but have we experienced anything new? Let's just think. We had the wildfires in California, which were because Gavin Newsom didn't have water and didn't clean the brush. But there's been wildfires before. We had a snowstorm that dipped deep down into the south where snow fell in New Orleans, Louisiana. But that's happened before. Maybe not a blizzard, but we had snow dip down this far before. We had hurricanes. We have earthquakes. We've had tsunamis. I can't think of nothing that's new. Can you? You know what's different? What's different is the whole entire climate agenda and what I would say the National Weather Service ways of identifying these things has changed. So, for example, watch this. I was watching the news the other day, and it was a video that popped up on here, and I think it was about Dallas. And the guy from the Dallas news comes on, and there was some significant cold coming, and they said it was a extreme cold alert. Extreme cold alert. The news guy gets on there. He says, you can tell he's holding back. He says, well, you know, this city, North Texas, has been this cold before. They're making it seem like we've never had this before. We had it in 1999, 1992, 1990. The difference is they come up with these different names, and it's an extreme cold alert. Basically, he was saying, this ain't nothing new. They just came up with a different name that makes it seem like it's more scary. And therein lies the problem. The verbiage, that's what I was looking for. The verbiage has changed around these things to fit the narrative that they want. And as the verbiage has changed, now you get this result. It's kind of like Alex Jones showed a while ago. They were showing the heat maps for the summertime. And all the maps were this bright red to instill fear. No. They change things to ensure that they got the money. That's why Donald Trump needs to go and fire who's ever over the National Weather Service or whatever the hell it's called. That person need to go. See, Donald, you slipping on some things. Don't worry, because the Stankonian is here. Now, y'all had an event at the White House. Y'all didn't invite the Stankonian. That's okay. I still love you. But you need the Stankonian in the mix. Because, see, the Stankonian see things that nobody else see. Because the Stankonian got an extra pair of eyes. Jesus gave me these eyes. You need to fire all them people. It's not enough to cut off the funding for them and still leave the mechanisms in place where they're using the language. You dealt with the gender thing. You need to deal with all the weather things that they're doing. You need to unravel everything they've done. So when the summertime comes around and it gets hot, they can't make people believe that everybody about to die of a heat stroke. Just because they showed a red hot fire map look like lava all over the place. Come on, man.
Importantly, I think while there's been a clear shift in narrative, in particular in the U.S., also some other places, as far as I know, no banks have withdrawn their commitments to supporting a transition to a net zero economy, because in the long run, it's pretty clear that we need to disgorge ourselves from the reliance on fossil fuels. But when we set this up at Standard Chartered in the beginning, it was two prongs. One was we've got to do our bit to do the right thing vis-a-vis our clients, because they want to transition to a net zero environment, but it requires massive investment. That's what we do. We come up with those dollars. But two is we make money. Right? It's a big business for us.
That boy says a big business for us. Listen to him.
Environment, but it requires massive investment. That's what we do. We come up with those dollars. But two is we make money. Right? It's a big business for us. And we made we gave the guidance externally a couple of years ago that we'd make $1 billion of income by 2026. We'll be pretty close to that in 2025.
So you're trying to tell me they made $1 billion? They made $1 billion. $1 billion. And we now know where all the money came from. I mean, imagine for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, there was the Stankonian Bank of America. And all of you sat on the board of the Stankonian Bank of America. And the Stankonian Bank of America specialized in financing of climate change and green projects. And then the government gave the Stankonian Bank of America $20 billion. And then we had to decide who we were going to invest in order to make sure that we hit a certain ESG score. Us Stankonia would be rich outside of it. I mean, richer than anybody on the planet, or some of the richest people on the planet. And that's essentially what happened. I mean, now that we see what's going on with USAID, all the money that's been shooting around going different, that's all it is to it. Yeah, if we were all rank devils, demon-filled monkeys, and we decided we was going to get in line with the new green idea, we all be rich. Probably go to prison when Cash Patel gets started, but nonetheless, we'll be rich for a little bit. But that's what it boils down to, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just a big business, and it's a profitable business. So I don't want to sound too mercantilist.
And I'm telling you, that's a lizard right there. See that girl right there? That's a lizard person. And as I have not been getting no traction on some of these videos, I'm going to do me some lizard people videos just for the hell of it. Because I found that when the algorithm kicks me out because people won't hit the like button, I might as well just make what I want to make and hit what I won't hit, because I'm going to be in this little hole. Now, if you want to help me, we need to get 3,000 likes. 3,000 of y'all need to hit the like button, and you're going to shoot me back in there. We get 1,800, 1,900. 2,000 is the number, but, 10% is poo. When you look at the reason why people stay in the algorithm is because there's a significant portion of people who hit the like button. I know people going to say, GW, I hit the like button, they take your likes away from you. Well, then guess what? We got to overwhelm them. Because everybody not hitting the button. That's just the honest to God truth. Somebody being selfish. Somebody is trying to hustle me, like Donald Trump said about Zelensky. Somebody won't sit here, listen to what I got to say, and they won't hustle me. You probably know right now, vacuuming the floor, washing dishes, listen to me in the background. Don't feel guilty. Just walk on over to your phone and hit the button. Yeah. Probably went down, taking a shower. Some of y'all might be pooping while you're listening. I don't know what you're doing. Whatever, wash your hands if you're pooping. But hit the like button. That's all I'm telling you to do. Hit the button, man. Yeah, hit the button. Let me let this clown finish saying what he's saying.
About it, but we do the right thing and we get paid for it. It's kind of win-win.
Yeah, we do the right thing, we get paid for it. It's a win-win. No, it ain't a win-win. What's happening is, I ain't gonna talk about that witch right there. She pissed me off. What's happening is, you hustling all of us. You're hustling the entire population of the world. Not just America, the entire population of the world is getting hustled. And it's utterly disgusting. There's a lot of black folks that don't like this.
Black excellence at the White House. Say hey everybody. Black excellence at the White House, period. Black excellence at the White House. Yeah.
And it's amazing because I don't recall Joe Biden having no Black History thing at the White House. I remember him having the LGBTQ gay flag flying at the White House. And I remember the man on the lawn showing his breasts that was an influencer. I remember that, but I don't remember Biden doing anything. And it's amazing that that even is a problem in the black community. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing that that's a problem in the black community. And it's utterly disgusting. I want to talk about this lady right here. Before I watch what she's saying, I don't know what she's about to say. But let me say this. I don't know what's gotten into her. Maybe it's the cartels. Maybe she's afraid. Maybe they like, we gonna whack you. I don't know what it is. But Claudia need to get her mind right. Claudia need to get her mind right. Because Donald not playing with Claudia. President Claudia argues that if cartels are terrorists, then those supplying their weapons, over 75% which come from the U.S., should be held accountable for aiding terrorism. In response, Mexico will expand its lawsuit against U.S. gun manufacturers. So she won't go tit for tat to protect the cartel, right? And this is essentially what she's saying. She's going to protect the cartel by suing the U.S. government. I ain't gonna lie, I would love to see us go to war with Mexico. This is the time period where I believe that she should be overthrown. Yeah. I think she should be overthrown. I think we should send our CIA. We should send our Green Berets. We should send Delta Force in there. and gin up a regime change. Gin up a regime change while whacking a cartel all at the same time. That's going to have to be wiped off the map completely. That whole infrastructure. And the reason why I say this is because if we don't deal with this, 10 years from now, they're going to open the borders again. They're going to come flooding straight through Mexico. You have to have someone in Mexico that's a real partner with America. That's not a partner for America. If that woman was a partner for America, and if the presidents of Mexico were partners with America, they would have never opened the borders in the first place to let all those people through. They're cartel owned. Now, mind you, we know that the cartel was trained by the American government and by the CIA. It's another reason why they have to be decimated, because the deep state does not need an army that it owns on our borders. So it's got to happen. I said the other day that Zelensky was going to get Saddam Hussein and or Gaddafi, and you notice that Alex Jones came out. I said this 2 days ago. You know, Alex Jones came out and said, well, yeah, Zelensky's been told he needs to flee or he's going to be killed by his own generals. It's clear. It's obvious. You don't have to have no inside information to see it. And I'm telling you what's going to have to happen to her too, because she's hard-headed. Either she's hard-headed or she's so compromised and so much in fear that she's between a rock and a Donald Trump. And if I got to choose between a rock and a Donald Trump, I'm going with the Donald Trump. I'm not choosing a rock. You understand what I'm saying?
En esta designación.
I'm not listening to none of that. That's nothing. No. That's enough. I said what I had to say. We're going to move on. Here's the coordinated attack. We saw, I'm not sure if that may have been earlier today. I'll go pull it up again for this video. So we had Jim Carvell come out with Sean Hannity, and Jim Carvell said that Donald Trump's polling numbers are dropping in 4 different polls. And Jim Carvell went on a Hannity show, and his whole talking point was, I told the Democrats that, you just need to be quiet because Trump's polling data is dropping, and he's dropping in the polls right now, right? And so here we go with, was that before this? So yeah, right around the same time where he was doing that interview, which was last night, CNN rolls out this polling data, Trump net approval rating, polls released in the last days. And so they're rolling out the CNN poll, the Gallup poll, the QPAC poll, and the Ipsos poll. The problem is, wasn't none of your damn polls right ever. We had the contingency, we contended with you guys over the polls in the very first place during the election. And so the only reason why they're rolling these polls out is they need to bolster their constituents. I mean, think for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine if you were a staunch Democrat and you believed everything the news told you. Think for a second. You believe that Kamala Harris was the best thing since sliced bread, and she loses. You go through that disappointment, right? And then you go through Donald Trump getting inaugurated, and then he gets inaugurated, and then all the news comes out about this money that's being stolen, and it's just hitting every day. Boom, 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 boom. This is a psychological operation targeted at their own constituents, not at me and you. At their own constituents. And this is the problem with the existing media. They continuously brain damage people who believe in them and lie to them. I can find a poll right now that says James Williams could run for governor and probably win. If enough of y'all go, they question enough of y'all, they can find a poll that says I could be a governor. Polls don't mean nothing. Don't mean a damn thing.
The last day and change has been the worst day of polling for Donald Trump during his entire second term in office. What am I talking about here? Take a look at Trump's net approval rating. CNN, you see it on this side of the screen, -5. Gallup, -6. Ipsos, -7. Quinnipiac, -4. Negative, 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 negative. Underwater, 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 underwater.
Wow. Thank you, Lord. Guess who they polled? They polled all them federal workers who got their ass fired. That's who they polled. Makes all the sense in the world. You ain't polled me, call me. Call me if you need someone to talk to. Call me. Satisfaction guarantee. Call me. Call me and ask me. Yeah. You went and polled all the federal workers who butt hurt because they got fired. And they're like, yeah, let's poll the federal workers. It probably was Jim Carvell who did this. He probably sat there, had a beer in his hand, was drinking, and said, yeah, who is this texting me right now? Yeah, this is Jim Carvell. I don't know what that is, man. Why would you ask me that complicated question right now? He probably said, yeah, I devised a plan. Sitting there drinking his beer. You know how Jim is. We gotta find a way to get that son of a bitch. I'll tell you what we could do. And Jim Carvell glasses always crooked like this when he talking. It's just his glasses like this. This is Jim Carvell right here. All right, we gotta find a way to get that son of a bitch. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Wow. Let's poll the federal workers. Give me some of this bill. Let's poll the federal workers, and we're gonna put out some polls that say that hold on, let me get my glasses straight. That say that Donald Trump it has a negative approval rating. And then I'll go on CNN, I go on Fox with Sean Hannity, and I'll tell Hannity that he's got a negative rating, that all we got to do is sit back and wait and watch him crumble. That's what we got to do. We got to wait and watch him crumble. That's what the hell happened right here. That's what happened. And he went and did it because ain't no way that man got a negative approval rating. Ain't no way. No way in hell he got a negative approval rating. Everybody named him. The man just talked about giving everybody $5,000. $5,000. And he said it might be more than $5,000. Man, you could take the most ghetto hood rat person and say, well, Trump talking about giving everybody $5,000. Shit. Man, that's why I like Trump. You know, last time under Trump, we got money from Trump, but Biden didn't give us nothing. He gave all the money to the illegals. The only people that's upset with Donald Trump right now is the federal workers. The cat women, who, by the way, cat women, if you watch them, you happen to be a cat lady, a liberal cat woman, first of all, I love you. I don't want you to feel bad for being a liberal cat woman, but I do want you to understand something. You do know that they was running all kind of experiments on them animals, right? You know what I'm saying? But you voted for the people who experiment on the animals that you love. Yep. So I'm going to need you to reevaluate what you're doing.
These 4 polls, all of them tell a consistent story, and that is Trump is on the negative side of the ledger. His net approval is negative. He is underwater like the Little Mermaid.
All right, what are the changes since the beginning of his...
Okay, so he's underwater with CNN viewers, which, of course, he's underwater with CNN viewers. I made my point on this. I'm not going to belabor the point. To hell with them and they poll. To hell with them and they poll. Wait, stop it. Stop all the violence. I don't want to see violence. What in Sam hell? No, don't turn the boat. Turn the boat the other way. What are you doing? Oh, my Lord. Wait, he about to swing that. Oh, he about to swing that. Oh, yeah, that's gangster right there. Oh, he's swinging it all the way around? What? Oh, yeah, that's gangster right there. That boy parallel parking an entire ship out here in these streets. Wait, what you doing? Where you going? Well, where you going? Man, that's dope right there. Is that the end of the video? Keep watching the waters, baby. That right there. Yeah, that's dope right there. They say it was sped up to a higher than original speed, but I don't care. That's still a gangster maneuver. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get back to it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave these people alone. I'm going to leave them alone. It's not necessary. This is a man that needs to be arrested immediately by Cash Patel. Cash, if you ever see this video, which I doubt if you see it, it's okay. But Cash, if you ever see the Stankonia ambassador talking to you, Cash, this one right here. This one should be top of the list, Cash. I don't care if you get nobody else. This one you got to get. You got to get him. And we got to get him now. Because these threats that he's been making against the world, it's not like he's just threatening America. This man is a threat to the entire world. I mean, the only other entity that I knew as a threat to the entire existence of the world is Satan himself. You know what I'm saying? And he's a off-world interdimensional being. Bill Gates warns of millions of deaths if Trump and Musk don't reinstate foreign aid funding. What do you mean? Are you saying that you're going to kill us? Are you threatening us? Yeah, something got to happen. So basically saying if I don't get my paper, my money that you've been funneling through me, millions going to die. Yeah, it's time for him to get wrecked. Yeah. It's time for him to get wrecked. Right now. All he laying about with threats to the whole world. Millions of who? You clearly threaten Americans. Millions of Americans gonna die? Man. You see, the problem is, if y'all bump into him, don't touch him because you're gonna turn him into a mortar. But boy, let me tell you something. Something need to be done with that one right there. You know what? I'm done for right now. I'm gonna holler back at y'all later because I'm getting all worked up.